Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Once again with me today, Anish Day is there, software engineer
Hello.
at Google. So Anish, please go ahead with your introduction.
Hello everyone. I am currently working at Google, and I currently work in Google Maps. And before this, we also had a conversation back in my college. So after that, I worked in Microsoft for some months and then switched to Google. And I am currently working in ML infrastructure in Google Maps. So that's a brief introduction.
Nice to hear this. Would you like to go ahead, Anish, and share your experience at your first company, Microsoft?
So when I was in Microsoft, it was my role basically was in backend. Okay, so backend APIs. So I used to work in ML agreements and licensing team. So what my team used to do is that, uh, let's say when you buy something from Microsoft, right? So you have to go through a legal agreement and like buy licenses, all of those stuffs, right? So my team used to handle those licensing things and getting the legal things done. Okay. So our team used to maintain that workflow of getting or like how to buy licenses or like the process or streamlining the process of buying things from Microsoft. Okay, products or services from Microsoft. So that's what my team used to do. So basically, my role was to help in backend or like to work in backend. So whatever APIs we had to build, we used means I used to build that right unit testing, all of those things. I also worked in a bit of front end, like if there was some front end bugs or something, like I got to fix that. So that's an overview of what I did in Microsoft.
Great to know this, by the way. And would like to know that the time period for yours at Microsoft was quite less. What
Yeah.
made you to transit to the Google?
So I worked around 6 months. Yeah. Uh, First of all, I wasn't planning to switch, to be very honest, but a recruiter reached out to me and told me if I was interested to switch to a new role or not. So initially, I thought that let me give the interviews and then I will decide. Okay, so that's how I gave the interviews. And to be very honest, first of all, there are two factors. Okay, so the first factor is that uh, the role was quite good. Okay, so whatever role, so in Google, they have a very good feature is that you get to choose your teams. Like they give you some options or like some team options. Those are called team matching rounds. Okay, so they give you some teams and you can pick which role you want to choose. Okay, so I saw there is a team in Google Maps and like the role was really good. So this is also backend, but something close to ML. Okay, like it's ML infrastructure. So what is meant by ML infrastructure is that you have to like maintain or look after the life cycle of ML models. Okay, like onboarding ML models to prod or offboarding ML models to prod, or let's say like giving support to ML models, like let's say streamlining the process of training the models or streamlining or automating the process of uh, let's say you develop a system which checks that whether the ML models are giving the right answer or not. Like you check the distribution of the outputs and then decide if the ML model is good to go to prod or not. Things like that. So it's giving support or making the infrastructure for ML models to perform or operate. Okay. So I felt that the role is quite more, I would say, not challenging, but interesting, I would say. And one more, and at the same time is was that like in my role in Microsoft, I was not getting enough, I would say, exposure to the whole code base. What do I mean by exposure is that like I was getting a certain amount of task and I was like completing them as simple as that. Okay. So means there was not a very wide opportunity to see the whole picture that how the wheel is running or how the licensing part or the workflow is operating. Okay. So, but here, like I am means the team is very small. First of all, it has only 3 members. So I have to know the whole workflow of what is going behind the scenes. Other than that, I can't really do anything. Okay. So first thing is that like I get to know the bigger picture here. I know the whole not the whole, but majority of the system, or I have the overview of what is happening in the team or what my team is doing. And also one more thing is that second point is that in Microsoft, like there was independent set of tasks which I used to do. Okay, like for example, fixing a bug, or let's say if some API is incomplete, I used to go and complete that API, or if some API is not there, I used to go and build that API. Okay, but in Google, like I am given standalone whole projects. Okay, like I have to design the project myself. Like first of all, they just give me the problem statement, and then hearing the problem statement, like I try to design the solution my and then discuss it with my team lead. So my team lead and me this designs the solution first of all, and then implement the whole thing, almost majority by myself only. Okay, so here the whole thing is like conducted majorly by me, right from planning, designing, implementing, and then testing as well. Okay, so basically you are owning the whole service you are building there. Okay, which was not happening in Microsoft. Like in Microsoft, you just build the API, test, write unit test, and then uh you are not owning that. Like you are just completing a task. But when you are here building a service, you are building, let's say, for example, I built a project which checks the output of the ML models and checks the distribution. Okay, like whether they are within the range or not. So when I build the whole system here, I own the system because I have done everything from scratch. So if anything comes up or any problem arises, I have to solve it on my own. So it's my own responsibility. Okay. So this is a major engineering difference between the roles which I got. Apart from that, like the compensation was also a lot more. So these are the major two factors which like for which I like switched within means after 6 months.
Great to know this quite a bit. And in Google, basically, you are getting the ownership of the entire project that is being thrown to you. That's great. And while transiting, would you like to tell us that how overall your interview experience at Google looks like? Means what they have asked you, what topics they have asked, and so on.
So first of all, interviews in Google are 100% DSA based. Okay, so there is a phone screen which is DSA round only, 30 to 45 minutes. Then there are four rounds. Okay, so three of them are DSA rounds, and the last round is behavioral or cultural fit round. Okay, like why do you want to work in a company? Why are you leaving your previous companies? Similar things like this. Okay, and then there are, as I told, there are team matching rounds. So in team matching round, it happens that you go and the manager you will work under, you both of them discuss and sees that whether that role interests you or not. Okay, so it has to be a green signal from both of the sides. Like the manager should also like your resume and you should also like the role. Okay, so until your team is matched, they keep on giving you team matching roles, or like whatever team has a open headcount, they try to connect you with that managers. Okay, so you have that option to choose teams, like if your resume is picked up by that hiring manager. Okay, so and I think so. These are the things. First is phone screen, then the on-site rounds, like the four on-site rounds. So there are like I would say six rounds in total. One is phone screen. Then you have four on-site rounds. Okay, like three of them is DSN, and one is the cultural fit, and then there are team matching rounds.
Great. And topic wise, what basically they ask in DSA? What are the recent things that you have seen?
So basically, they can ask anything. Like there is no particular topic. They can ask anything, but it will be lead code hard. Okay, like it will not be easy or medium. It will be a standard good question, and so that like that can be solved in 45 minutes. Okay, so it will be a good problem solving question, not a very easy one.
Great. And I also have heard that in SWE3 roles, they are also asking for all the rounds DSA.
For SW3 also, like yes, they ask, but in team matching rounds they might ask one design question. So it depends. Yeah.
Great to know. Great to know this. And afterwards, I think you have spent quite significant time starting from Microsoft till Google. How would you compare their work cultures and pros and cons for both the companies? What will you say?
Uh, I think work culture is pretty much the same. Like workload is also pretty much the same. Okay, and pros is that like they means you get to work in like I would say good projects in both the companies. Good. What do I mean by good projects is that like stable projects, not something where you have to like build from scratch. Uh, build from scratch means like nothing is built. Okay, so both of the companies have I would say they have a lot of things built, so it helps you to build things on top of that. Okay, so that's one of the pros. And so what happens in startups is that like you have to build everything from zero, ground zero. Okay, so work life balance generally goes out because every time something breaks, you have to come and fix that. Okay, so that's one of the advantages in MNCs, that they have a lot of things already streamlined. Okay, so if some bugs all comes up, so they already have a playbook or a handbook for means solving that. Okay, so that helps a lot. So the pros is that like a lot of things are already streamlined and you have to build on top of that. Okay. So that makes the things lot more easier. Okay. And I think apart from that, like they also have a lot of perks. It means non-engineering perks that helps you means make your lifestyle better. And for cons, I would say key since a lot of things are already built or streamlined, so if something breaks in that streamlining process, you will not be able to fix on your own. So until that gets fixed, you are like blocked or you can't do your work. Okay. So that is one of the cons. Like I would say that's the major pros and cons.
And great to know this. And being a software engineer at Google for budding engineers of 2025, what would you just suggest them? How to prepare and all?
So first of all, like three things you should means they should be focusing on. First of all is DSA. Like every company has at least one or two round of DSA. So yes, DSA, and then I would say learn two more things, which is very important. One is the basics of CS, computer science. Okay, like how databases work, how backend works. Like first of all, why do you need databases? Why do you need backend system? For example, why can't front end directly call the database? Okay, so learn how things work because unless you know the basics of the computer science fundamentals, you will not be able to apply the algorithms you have learned in DSA. Okay. First, you need to know why things work in a certain manner. Like, for example, in databases, why ACID principles are there. Like, why do you need atomicity in certain cases? Okay. Like, what can be the problem if a certain thing is not atomic in nature? Okay. So these things will help you gain a lot of real life insights, and also like you can learn a little bit of design. Okay, like let's say given a real life problem which where a lot of variables are there. Okay, how do you solve that problem? So for this there was a very good competition in Google earlier, like called Google Hash Code, which
Yes.
they discontinued afterwards, like they took off everything. But you can I think they have archives like if you I'm not sure if they still have the archives or not, but if you means if they go and solve the past years Google hash code, they will get to know that how a real life problem looks like. In DSF what happens, there are only maximum 5 to 6 constraints, right?
Yes.
But in real life problems you will at least have 40 to 50 constraints. Okay,
Yes.
it's not possible to have the perfect answer every time. So your aim should be to have the means your aim should be trying to have a high accuracy instead of aiming for 100% accuracy. Okay, so there is a different thought process for 100% accuracy and there is a different thought process for 99 or 98% accuracy. So that difference should everyone should understand, and I think that difference like they can understand if they give some past or like if they virtually give Google hash code competition questions. Okay, so that's the three things I would suggest to everyone to do.
Thanks a lot, Anish, for addressing onto my channel again. And it's great to know your experiences overall. And all the best for your future endeavors.
Thank you.
Yeah, all of you, whomsoever liked the video, please like, share, and subscribe. Thanks all.